Okonkwo's hands trembled as she poured warm water over the most dangerous man in Seoul. $600,000. That's what Kang Min-jae was paying her to bathe him. Just bathe him. Nothing else. Her fingers barely grazed his chest as she reached for the soap, and his entire body went rigid. His breath caught sharp and sudden. His eyes snapped open, dark, shocked, hungry. Then she saw it. The visible evidence of his arousal stirring beneath the water. For a man who'd sworn he couldn't feel anything, his body was screaming otherwise. His hand shot out like a snake strike, gripping her wrist with bruising force. His voice came out rough, desperate, almost broken. "Lower. Go lower. I'll pay you anything. Just don't stop." Ade's heart hammered against her ribs. This wasn't supposed to happen. He'd told her he couldn't feel. 27 women before her had failed to make him feel anything. But the way his pupils had blown wide, the way his breathing had turned ragged, the way his free hand gripped the edge of the tub until his knuckles went white, this man was feeling everything. "I don't think," she started. 1 million. His voice cracked. "Right now. Touch me again." Her hand hovered, trembling worse than before. Then his eyes met hers, and what she saw there made her breath catch. It wasn't just desire. It was terror. Pure, visceral terror of a man experiencing sensation for the first time in 15 years and not knowing what to do with it. Just as her fingers moved lower, he jerked back violently. Water sloshed over the marble floor as he stood abruptly, naked and dripping, putting distance between them like she'd burned him. "Get out!" His voice had gone cold, but his hands were shaking. "Now." "But you just said—" "I said get out!" The command echoed off the bathroom walls. "Before I lose what's left of my control and we both regret it." Ade scrambled to her feet, nearly slipping on the wet floor. As she reached the door, she glanced back. Min-jae stood with his back to her, both hands braced against the sink, staring at his own reflection. Even from across the room, she could see his whole body trembling. She'd just awakened something in a man who'd been dead inside for over a decade, and neither of them knew what came next. If you're ready to witness how one woman's touch awakened a monster who'd forgotten what it meant to be human, smash that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me if you'd take this deal. Hit that like because what happens next will change both their lives forever. 48 hours earlier, Ade had been a different person. A broke medical student in Seoul with 3 jobs and still not enough money to save the one person who mattered most. The video call image was burned into her brain. Her father in a Lagos hospital bed, barely conscious, machines breathing for him. Stage 4 kidney failure. He needed a transplant. He needed $600,000. He needed it in 10 days. Or he'd die. "Don't worry about me, Omochmi," he'd whispered, using the Yoruba endearment that meant, "my child. Focus on your studies." But Ade couldn't focus on anything except the countdown. 9 days left. 8, 7. Every shift at the hospital, every tutoring session, every translation job. She was still $580,000 short. Her mother had died when she was 12. Her father was all she had left, and she was going to lose him because she couldn't come up with enough money fast enough. Then the woman in the expensive suit appeared outside Seoul National Hospital after Ade's shift. Elegant, cold, exact. "I represent someone who requires specialized medical care." She handed Ade a card with nothing but an address in Gangnam. $600,000, 1 night, details upon acceptance. Ade's first thought was prostitution. "I'm not." "He doesn't want sex." The woman's smile was razor sharp. "He wants something much simpler and far stranger. He wants you to bathe him, that's all. He has a medical condition. He can't feel physical sensation. You're a medical student. You'll understand his needs better than most." The woman walked away before Ade could ask questions, leaving her holding a card with an address that Google Maps showed was a luxury penthouse worth more than most people earned in a lifetime. Aide researched the address, found the name attached to it. Kang Min-jae, Seoul's most feared organized crime leader. Rumors said he felt no pain, no fear, had built his empire on being literally untouchable. The medical journals she dug through mentioned cases of severe nerve damage from childhood trauma, experimental procedures gone wrong. This man had spent 15 years feeling nothing. "You can't go," her best friend Soo Jin had insisted the night before, watching Aide prepare. "He's a criminal, a killer. My father has 8 days left. And if you die in that penthouse, what then?" Aide had looked at her father's medical bills spread across her tiny apartment floor. "Then at least I tried." 24 hours ago, she'd stood in that penthouse, surrounded by armed security, waiting to meet the man offering her salvation. When Kang Min-jae walked in, she understood why people feared him. Tall, broad-shouldered, moving with predatory grace. His face could have been carved from stone, beautiful and completely cold, but it was his eyes that made her breath catch, empty, like looking into a void. "You're smaller than I expected." He circled her slowly, assessing. "Medical student, correct? Final year?" "Yes." "Good. You'll understand this clinically." He stripped off his shirt without ceremony, and Aide's medical training kicked in before her fear could. His torso was a roadmap of violence, stab wounds, bullet scars, burns, brands, dozens of them. "I didn't feel any of these," he said, watching her examine them. Severe nerve damage, childhood trauma combined with an experimental medical procedure that went wrong. The result, I feel nothing. No pain, no pleasure, no temperature, nothing. He pulled his shirt back on. "I've tried everything. Specialists, acupuncture, sensory therapy, women who swore they could make me feel." His laugh was bitter. 27 of them, all failures. You'll fail too, but I'm paying you to try. Just bathing. Just bathing. 600,000 for one night. If I feel anything at all, I'll triple it. He held out a contract. "Sign or leave. Choose now." Aide had signed with shaking hands, knowing she was making a deal with the devil, but having no other choice. 12 hours ago, she'd tried to sleep in the guest room he'd provided, researching his condition on her laptop until dawn. The procedure he'd mentioned. She'd found references to it in old Soviet medical experiments, destroying a child's nerve endings and capacity for emotional connection to create the perfect weapon. Someone had done that to him deliberately, made him into this. Now, standing outside that bathroom door with her clothes soaked and her wrist still aching from his grip, Aide realized something terrifying. She hadn't just made him feel for the first time in 15 years. She'd cracked something open that he'd spent his entire adult life keeping locked down, and whatever came next would change both of them in ways neither could predict. Aide stood frozen outside the bathroom door, listening to the sound of ragged breathing on the other side. She should leave, walk out of this penthouse, take the money already transferred to her account, and never look back. But her healer's instinct wouldn't let her feet move. Something in that bathroom wasn't a monster. It was a man who'd just experienced sensation for the first time in 15 years and was terrified of it. The door opened. Min-jae stood there, fully dressed now, hair still damp, face carefully blank again. But his hands, she noticed his hands were still trembling slightly. "You're still here." It wasn't a question. "I didn't know if I should—" "The money's in your account. You fulfilled the contract. You can go." He moved past her toward his office, each step controlled, measured, a man forcing himself back under control. "What happened in there?" Aide started. He stopped walking but didn't turn around. "Won't happen again. It was a fluke. Neural misfiring, already fading." "You're lying." Now he turned, and the look in his eyes should have made her step back, should have made her run. "Excuse me? Your pupils are still dilated. Your breathing is elevated. You're clenching and unclenching your left hand every few seconds, like you're trying to hold on to the sensation. She crossed her arms. I'm a medical student. I notice things. Whatever happened in there was real, and you're terrified of it. For a long moment, he just stared at her. Then something cracked in his expression. Not much, but enough. Terrified doesn't begin to cover it. He walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul's glittering skyline. I built an empire on being untouchable, literally. I don't feel pain, so I don't fear injury. I don't feel pleasure, so I can't be seduced or compromised. I don't feel anything, so I make perfect decisions unclouded by emotion. That's my power. That's what keeps me alive in a world where showing weakness gets you killed. He turned to face her. And you just shattered all of that with one touch. The vulnerability in his voice made Adie's chest tight. I didn't mean to. I know. He moved closer and she could see the internal war raging behind his eyes. That's why I need you to stay. What? $5 million, 1 month, stay here, teach me. His voice had gone rough again. Not just bathing, everything. What food tastes like, what music sounds like. How to understand what my body is telling me. I've been a weapon for 15 years. You're the first person who made me feel like something else. I need to know if it's real or if I'm losing my mind. Ade's heart hammered. I have medical school. Finals are in 6 weeks. Take classes remotely. I'll provide whatever equipment you need. He pulled out his phone, typed rapidly. Done. Top-of-the-line laptop, high-speed connection, private study space. What else? I can't just disappear. My friend Soo Jin knows I'm here. If I don't, check in. Then check in. Daily, I won't stop you. He pocketed his phone. But you stay in this penthouse. My enemies can't know you exist. You'd become a target I can't afford. This is insane. Yes, he didn't deny it. But your father's surgery is scheduled now, paid in full. Best surgeons in Lagos. He'll live. His eyes locked on hers. And you'll spend 1 month teaching a monster how to be human. After that, you walk away with enough money to finish medical school debt-free. Start your career anywhere you want. Or you leave now, and I go back to being numb for the rest of my life. Your choice. Ade thought of her father, already in surgery by now according to the notification on her phone. Thought of the way Min-jae had looked at his own shaking hands like they belonged to someone else. Thought of the scared child who'd been tortured into numbness and turned into a weapon. I have conditions. Something that might have been hope flickered in his expression. Name them. I'm not your employee. I'm your teacher. That means we do this my way, at my pace. You don't command me. You don't own me. Understand? Agreed. Soo-jin gets a daily check-in call. If I miss even one, she goes to the police with everything. Smart. Agreed. And if at any point I want to leave before the month is up, I walk away. No questions, no consequences. Min-jae extended his hand. You have my word. 1 month, your terms. Starting now. Ade stared at his outstretched hand, knowing that taking it would change everything. Then she clasped it firmly and watched his eyes widen slightly at the contact. Even through the handshake, he was feeling it. The warmth, the pressure, the connection. When do we start? His voice had gone quiet. Now. She didn't let go of his hand yet. Give me your other hand. He obeyed, and she placed both his palms against hers, fingers spread. Close your eyes. Tell me what you feel. Warmth, pressure, your pulse in your fingertips. His breathing had changed, deeper. Texture. Your skin is softer than mine. Smoother. Good. Now, she guided his hand to touch rough wood, then smooth silk, then cold metal, then back to her warm palm. Each texture made him react. Small intakes of breath, muscles tensing, eyes moving rapidly beneath closed lids like he was dreaming. When she pressed his palm against her cheek, his eyes opened. They were standing close now, his hand cradling her face, his thumb accidentally brushing her bottom lip. The air between them crackled with something dangerous and new. "Soft," he whispered, "and warm. You're alive." "So are you," Ade whispered back. "You just forgot." He leaned closer, and she knew he wanted to kiss her, knew he was fighting every instinct to close that last inch between them. She could feel his breath on her lips, could see the war between desire and discipline raging in his eyes. She pressed one finger against his lips, stopping him. "Not yet. First rule of teaching. You need to understand wanting before you can have." Frustration flashed across his face, but also something else. Respect. "How long?" "Until you know the difference between desire and need, between wanting me and needing to feel anything at all." Before he could respond, his phone buzzed urgently. Then again, then a third time. His expression shifted instantly, from vulnerable man to dangerous predator. "Problem." He answered, listened, his face going hard. "How many?" A pause. Then, "Lock it down. I'll be there in 10 minutes. He ended the call, looked at Ade. 3 of my warehouses were just hit, millions in losses. I have to handle this personally. Then go. Stay here. Don't leave the penthouse. Security will keep you safe." He was already moving toward the door, that cold efficiency back in place. Then he stopped, turned back. "Promise me you'll be here when I get back." The vulnerability in that request cracked something open in Ade's chest. "I promise." He held her gaze for one more moment, then left, and Ade stood alone in a penthouse owned by Seoul's most dangerous man, wondering what she'd just agreed to. But the answer came from her phone, a video message from Lagos. Her father, awake and smiling weakly. "The surgery went perfectly, Omomi. The doctors say I'll make a full recovery. I don't know what you did, but thank you. I love you." Ade watched the video 3 times, tears streaming down her face. Then she looked around the penthouse and made her choice. Whatever came next, however dangerous this was, she just saved her father's life. And maybe, just maybe, she could save Minjai's soul. But she didn't know yet that in a dark office across the city, Minjai's most trusted lieutenant was making a phone call. "She's here." "He's compromised," Ji-hoon said, his voice cold. "Proceed with the plan." Min Jae returned at dawn, and Ade knew immediately that something had changed. He stood in the doorway covered in blood that wasn't his, exhaustion etched into every line of his face. But his eyes were different, haunted. "Are you hurt?" She crossed to him before she could think better of it. "No." He looked down at the blood soaking his shirt. "It's not mine. I killed 3 men tonight. Felt nothing doing it. But now," he met her gaze, "now I feel sick. Is that normal?" "Yes." Ade's throat tightened. "That's called remorse. It means you're not a monster anymore." Something raw flashed across his face. "I don't know if that's better or worse. Come on." She took his hand, felt him shudder at the contact. "Let's get you cleaned up." In the bathroom, she helped him strip off the blood-stained clothes, keeping her touch clinical even as she felt his body react to every brush of her fingers. Under the shower spray, she washed the blood away gently, carefully, like tending a patient. But this felt nothing like tending a patient. "No one's ever taken care of me before," he said quietly, eyes closed as she shampooed his hair. "I'm here now." Her fingers massaged his scalp, and she heard his breath catch. "Let me." When she was done, he caught her hand. "Stay. Just, stay close tonight. I don't want to be alone with what I'm feeling." They ended up on his bed, fully clothed, her reading medical journals while he lay with his head on her shoulder. It should have been awkward. Instead, it felt like the most natural thing in the world. "Tell me about your mother," he said suddenly. So she did. Told him about her mother's laugh, her mother's cooking, the way cancer had stolen her piece by piece until there was nothing left but goodbye. When she finished, there were tears on her cheeks. Min Jae reached up, caught one on his finger, stared at it. "I've never cried. Not once. Not even as a child. They made sure of that." He touched the tear to his own cheek. "But I think I understand now. Why people do." The next morning, Aid woke to find him watching her sleep. "Creepy," she mumbled. "Sorry, I don't sleep much, but watching you is better than staring at the ceiling." He smiled, actually smiled, and it transformed his entire face. "I made breakfast, or tried to. The kitchen might be on fire." It wasn't on fire, but it was close. Burnt toast, undercooked eggs, coffee that could strip paint. Aid laughed so hard she nearly cried. "This is terrible." "I know." He didn't look offended, just fascinated by her laughter. "But you're happy. That makes it worth it." She taught him to cook properly, how to crack eggs without getting shell everywhere, how to toast bread without carbonizing it. They worked side by side, and every accidental touch made him pause, made his breath catch, made him look at her like she was performing miracles. "Tonight we work on taste," she announced over their actually edible breakfast. That evening, his private chef prepared a 7-course meal. Aid made Min-jae close his eyes for each dish, made him focus entirely on the flavors. Sweet chocolate mousse made his eyes fly open in wonder. "This is incredible." Sour lemon tart made his face pucker, and she couldn't help laughing at his expression. Spicy Korean kimchi brought tears to his eyes. "Is it supposed to burn?" "Yes, that's what makes it good." Then she had the chef prepare Nigerian jollof rice, the way her mother used to make it. Min-jae took one bite and went completely still. "This is what home tastes like for you." It wasn't a question, and the understanding in his voice made her chest tight. "Yes. Your mom really did teach you well. What were her last days like? Tell me." So she did, sharing stories between bites, and he listened like every word mattered. When she told him about her mother's last days, about choosing to become a doctor so no one else would feel that helpless, he reached across the table and took her hand. "You're the strongest person I've ever met." "I'm not. You are." His thumb traced circles on her palm, and she could see him cataloging the sensation. "You turned grief into purpose. I turned pain into numbness. You're everything I'm not." "You're learning," she said softly. "That takes strength, too." He stood, pulled her to her feet. "There's something I want to try." He led her to his rooftop garden, a space filled with plants and flowers she hadn't known existed up here. Seoul sprawled below them, glittering and alive. "I bought this penthouse for this view," he said. "Spent millions on it. Never felt anything looking at it." He turned to her. "Until now." The way he was looking at her made Aid's pulse race. "Min-jae, I want to kiss you." His voice was rough. "I've been thinking about it all day, but I don't know if I want to because of you or because I'm desperate to feel anything at all. How do I know the difference?" "You'll know," she whispered, even as every cell in her body screamed for her to close the distance. "When it's about me specifically, not just the sensation, you'll know." He cupped her face with both hands, thumbs brushing her cheekbones. "Teach me, please. I need to understand this." She should have said no, should have maintained the boundary. Instead, she heard herself say, "Kiss me, but kiss me like you mean it, like it's about me, not just about feeling." He lowered his head slowly, giving her every chance to pull away. When his lips finally touched hers, it was gentle at first, exploratory. Then something ignited. His hands slid into her hair, pulled her closer. The kiss deepened, turned hungry, desperate. She felt him trembling against her, felt the barely leashed control starting to crack. Her back hit the rooftop railing. His body pressed against hers, and she could feel exactly how much he wanted this, wanted her. His hands moved to her waist, slid under her shirt, and they both gasped at the skin-to-skin contact. "AD," he breathed against her mouth. "I need—" His phone exploded with urgent buzzing. Once, twice, 5 times. He pulled back, breathing hard, eyes wild. No, not now. But the phone kept ringing. He answered with a snarl. What? His expression shifted instantly from desire to cold fury. How bad? A pause. I'll be there in 20 minutes. He ended the call, turned to Aid with visible frustration and something that looked like genuine anguish. I have to be somewhere. If I don't handle this personally, I lose credibility completely. Then go. I don't want to go. He pulled her close again, pressed his forehead to hers. For the first time in my life, I want to stay somewhere more than I want to handle business. Do you understand how terrifying that is? She touched his face. Go. Handle it. I'll be here when you get back. Promise me again. His hands gripped her waist. Promise you'll be here. I promise. He kissed her again, hard and fast and full of everything he couldn't say. Then he forced himself to step back. Don't leave the penthouse. Don't go near the windows. Lock yourself in the panic room if anything feels wrong. I'll be fine. He left, and Aid stood on that rooftop touching her lips, her body still humming with want. She'd just crossed a line she'd sworn she wouldn't cross, and the terrifying part was how much she wanted to cross it again. Inside, she tried to focus on her medical school lectures streaming on the laptop he'd provided. Tried to study. Failed completely. Her mind kept replaying that kiss, the way he'd trembled, the desperate need in his eyes. Her phone rang, Soo-jin's daily check-in. I'm fine, Aid said before her friend could ask. You sound different. I'm the same. You're falling for him. Soo-jin's voice carried no judgment, just concern. I can hear it. Aid closed her eyes. I don't know. Maybe. Is that insane? Completely. A pause. But I've never heard you sound this alive. Just be careful. Men like him don't change. After they hung up, Aid stood at the window watching Seoul's lights. Soo-jin was right. Men like Min-jae didn't change. Except he was changing. She could see it happening. Feel it. But what she didn't see was the man in the security room, carefully editing footage, erasing his presence from the cameras. Ji-hoon had been planning this for 2 years, waiting for his boss to care about something, anything, so destroying it would actually hurt. He made another call. She's alone. Security is lighter than usual. If we're going to move, it needs to be soon. The woman's voice on the other end was cold and satisfied. Patience, Ji-hoon. Let him get comfortable first. Let him fall completely. Then we take everything from him at once. Min-jae returned at dawn, looking lost. I couldn't do it, he said, standing in the doorway. They had the man who betrayed me. Tied up, waiting for me to make an example. Everyone watching. Aid set down her coffee. What happened? I looked at him and thought, he has someone waiting, someone who'll grieve. And I felt it, the weight of taking that. He ran his hands through his hair, so I let him go. Exiled him. My men think I'm going soft. You're becoming human. He crossed to her, dropped to his knees, and laid his head in her lap. I don't know how to feel everything and still function. Aid ran her fingers through his hair, felt him shudder. You're learning. That's all any of us can do. He looked up. I need you to leave the penthouse today. Her hands stilled. What? Your medical school advisor called. You're failing because you're missing clinical rotations. If you don't attend this week, you won't graduate. He pulled her to her feet. I can't let you sacrifice your future for me. It's too dangerous. 4 bodyguards. Armored car. You're going. Non-negotiable. 6 hours later, Aid stood in Seoul National Hospital's emergency room, surrounded by bodyguards trying to blend in. Her fellow students kept staring. Soo-jin appeared, grabbed her arm. Okay, spill. Everything. Before Aid could answer, the parking structure exploded. Gunfire erupted. Her bodyguards surrounded her, weapons drawn. Rival gang members poured in, targeting Min-jae's men. Get her out, the lead bodyguard shouted. But one attacker went down screaming, leg wound bleeding. Without thinking, Aid ran to him. "What are you doing?" her bodyguard yelled. "My job." She applied pressure, training overriding fear. Then Min Jae was there, and the violence that followed was swift and brutal. He killed every attacker without hesitation. When the last one fell, he turned to Aid, fear raw in his eyes. "Are you hurt?" His hands checked her frantically. "Tell me you're not hurt." "I'm fine, but he's not." "Let him bleed." "No." Aid met his eyes. "I'm a doctor. I save lives. All lives." Pride and frustration warred in his expression. "You're impossible." "And you spared that traitor this morning but won't let me treat this man?" Min Jae's jaw clenched. Then he nodded. "Save him. Then we're leaving." The car ride back was silent. When they reached the penthouse, Min Jae exploded. "You could have died. You ran toward danger to save someone who came to kill you. That's what doctors do. You think I can focus knowing you're out there with a target on your back because of me?" He grabbed her shoulders desperately. "I can't lose you. I just learned what fear feels like." "Then what do you want? For me to give up medicine? Lock myself in a cage? I want you safe. I want to live my life." They stood breathing hard, air crackling between them. Then Min Jae's expression crumbled. "I'm sorry. I don't know how to care about someone without suffocating them." His voice dropped. "I'm falling in love with you, and I don't know what I'm doing." Aid's heart stopped. "What?" "I love you." He said it like a confession. "This fear of losing you, this need to be near you, this ache when you're gone. I asked my doctor what it meant. He said it was love." His hands cupped her face. "Tell me I'm not alone in this." "You're not." The admission tore out of her. "And it terrifies me. You're a killer. I save lives. We're opposites." "Then teach me to be better. I'm trying. I spared that man today." "Are you? You just murdered 7 people in a hospital parking lot." "They threatened you. What was I supposed to do?" "Talk to me first." The fight dissolved into kissing. Desperate, hungry, born from fear and relief. His hands pulled her closer. They stumbled toward the bedroom, shedding clothes, all restraint shattering. He laid her on the bed, hovering over her. "I need you. But is this just physical? Or is it more?" "It's everything." She pulled him down. "It's love." "I don't know what I'm doing," he whispered. "I'll show you." What followed overwhelmed them both. For Min Jae, every sensation was new, amplified. He gasped and trembled and held her, like she was the only real thing in his world. For Aid, watching this powerful man come completely undone, vulnerable and feeling everything for the first time, it was the most intimate thing she'd ever experienced. Afterward, he couldn't stop touching her face, her hair, her shoulders. "I finally understand," he whispered, "why people live for this, die for this." He pulled her closer. "I'd burn my empire to ashes to keep feeling this." She traced the scars on his chest. "You might have to. Your world and mine don't fit." "Then I'll change my world." His voice was certain. "I'm leaving the organization, selling everything, walking away." Aid sat up. "You can't just—" "I can. Give me 2 weeks to dismantle it properly, pay my men, transfer territories peacefully." He took her hands. "Then we start fresh. You finish medical school. I start something legitimate. We build a life that's ours." "You'd really give up everything?" "You're everything. The rest is just noise." He kissed her softly. "I choose you." Aid wanted to believe it, but she'd seen the violence in him. Could that really disappear? Her phone buzzed. "Soo-jin, are you okay? The news is showing the attack." She texted back, then noticed a news alert. "Gangnam Massacre. 7 dead. Kang Min Jae suspected." Min Jae had fallen asleep. Aid stared at his peaceful face and wondered if she was making the biggest mistake of her life. But what could she do now? She was in too deep. She loved him, and that changed everything. Across the city, Ji-hoon watched the same news with cold satisfaction. "He's completely compromised," he told the woman on the phone. "Weak, distracted, in love." Lee Hae-jin's voice was ice. "Good. Tomorrow night we take the girl, and when he comes running, we end this." The next morning, Aid woke to an empty bed and a note. "Emergency meeting. Back by lunch. Stay inside. MJ." She smiled at the attempt at normalcy, then started packing. They were planning to move to a smaller apartment after he dismantled his organization. A fresh start. She was folding clothes when her phone rang. "Coffee?" Soo-jin's voice was bright. "I miss my best friend." "I'll have to bring the bodyguard brigade." "I'll bring extra chairs." Aid left with 2 bodyguards, heading to their usual cafe near the hospital. Traffic was light. Everything felt normal. Too normal. At the cafe, Soo-jin was late, unusual for her. Then Aid's phone buzzed, a text from Soo-jin's number. "Emergency at hospital, come quick." Concern spiked through her. She showed the bodyguards, who exchanged glances. "We'll take you," the lead one said. They drove to the hospital, and he directed them through a shortcut in the parking structure, the same one where the attack happened yesterday. Aid's instincts screamed wrong, but before she could voice it, armed men appeared from nowhere. The loyal bodyguard reached for his weapon. A gunshot cracked. He went down. Aid ran, but hands grabbed her, yanked her back. A cloth pressed over her mouth and nose. Chemical smell. Her vision blurred. The last thing she saw was the traitorous bodyguard pocketing his phone, counting money. When Min-jae returned to the penthouse 2 hours later, something felt wrong immediately. Too quiet. "Aid?" He moved through the rooms, empty, her phone on the counter, her jacket still on the chair. Then he saw him. His loyal bodyguard, barely alive, collapsed inside the door. Min-jae dropped beside him. "What happened? Where is she?" "Ji-hoon." Blood bubbled from the man's lips. "Betrayed. Took her." "Where?" Min-jae's hands pressed the wound, but there was too much blood. The bodyguard's eyes glazed. He was gone. Min-jae's world tilted. For the first time in his life, he couldn't breathe. His chest felt crushed. His hands shook violently. This was fear, real, visceral, paralyzing fear, and it was destroying him. He forced himself to function, checked security footage, scrubbed, tracked her phone, dead, called his best tracker. No leads. Then his phone buzzed. Video message. Aid was tied to a chair in some warehouse, bruised but defiant. Ji-hoon stood behind her, knife pressed to her throat. Then a woman stepped into frame. Beautiful, cold, vicious. "Hello, Min-jae." Her voice made his blood freeze. "Remember me? Lee Hae-jin. You killed my brother 5 years ago, took everything from my family." The Serpent Queen? He'd thought she was in Japan. "Come to Warehouse District, Sector 7, alone, unarmed, 1 hour." Her smile was cruel. "Or I let Ji-hoon open her throat and send you the video." Aid looked directly at the camera. "Don't come. It's a trap. They'll kill—" Ji-hoon slapped her hard. The video cut. Min-jae stared at his phone, at Aid's bruised face, and something inside him broke and reformed simultaneously. He'd spent his whole life feeling nothing. Now he felt everything. Terror, rage, love, desperation. His men gathered. "We go in full force, sir. 20 armed—" "No." Min-jae's voice was ice. She said alone. "I'm going alone." "Sir, it's suicide." "Then I die." He strapped light armor under his clothes, hid ceramic knife in his boot, garrote wire in his watch, small gun at his ankle. Left the obvious weapons behind. "If I don't come back in 2 hours, burn it all. The whole organization. Don't let them profit from my death." Sector 7 was abandoned factories and rust. Min-jae entered through the main door, hands visible and empty. 30 armed men surrounded the space. In the center, Aid tied to a chair. Ji-hoon behind her, Hae-jin watching from above. "Kang Min-jae, on your knees." He dropped without hesitation. His watching men, monitoring via drone, were shocked. He'd never knelt for anyone. Jin descended the stairs slowly. Beg. Beg like my brother begged. Please. Min-jae's voice was raw. Let her go. Take me. Torture me. Kill me. Just let her go. I've done terrible things. Killed hundreds. But she's innocent. She's good. Everything I'm not. Please. Ji-hoon stepped forward. You killed my brother 3 years ago, too. Park Dong-min. Remember him? No, I'm sorry. I stopped keeping track. I became the monster everyone said I was. Exactly. You felt nothing. You were untouchable. I worshipped you. Ji-hoon's voice turned bitter. Until you fell in love. Until you became weak. Min-jae understood now. You've been planning this. 2 years. Waiting for you to care about something. So destroying it would actually hurt. Aide had been working her restraints, using medical knowledge of pressure points and knots. You're pathetic. Both of you. Defining yourselves by him. Even in revenge, you're in his shadow. Jin backhanded her. Quiet. Min-jae lunged. Guards tackled him, held him down. Don't touch her. You'll do nothing, Jin said, because you're about to watch her die. Then I'll kill you. So you die knowing you failed her. Aide's restraints finally loosened. She broke free, grabbed Ji-hoon's knife, held it to his throat. Nobody moves or I open his jugular. I know exactly where to cut. Everyone froze. Jin aimed a gun at Min-jae. Drop the knife or he dies. Aide locked eyes with Min-jae across the warehouse. A moment of silent communication. Goodbye. I love you. Fight. If I drop this, we both die anyway, Aide said. Then don't drop it, Min-jae told her. Whatever happens, you fight. You survive. Ji-hoon struggled. You're a doctor. You can't kill. You're right. Aide cut him just enough to escape, threw the knife to Min-jae. He caught it. Chaos erupted. Min-jae fought against 30 men, but differently now, recklessly, desperately, because he felt fear. He took hits, stab wound to his side. He screamed, kept fighting. Shot in the shoulder, used the pain to fuel him. Aide fought too. Pressure points, nerve strikes, medical precision. She took down 3 men. Together they were unstoppable. Ji-hoon attacked Aide with a knife. Min-jae threw his blade, hit Ji-hoon's shoulder, crossed to him, bleeding. I forgive you, but I won't let you hurt her. Disarmed him, didn't kill. Live with what you've become. Just kill me, Ji-hoon begged. No, I'm done killing. Jin had a gun on Aide. If I can't have revenge, you can't have happiness. Her finger tightened on the trigger. Min-jae threw himself in front of Aide. The bullet hit his chest. He went down hard. Aide screamed, caught him. Jin stood shocked. Aide grabbed a dropped gun, aimed at Jin, hands shaking. Give me one reason. You're a healer. You can't kill. You're right. Aide shot her in the leg. But I can hurt. Enjoy prison. Sirens approached. Min-jae's men had called police. Min-jae was bleeding out. Aide applied pressure desperately. Stay with me. Don't you dare die. I can feel it, he whispered. The pain, the fear, the love, all of it. I'm glad. I got to feel everything. With you. His eyes closed. No, Aide screamed. Min-jae, stay, stay. Ambulance arrived. Paramedics took over. Aide refused to let go of his hand as they loaded him. In the ambulance, machines beeped frantically. We're losing him, the paramedic said. Aide, covered in his blood, gripped his hand tighter. No, you're not. He doesn't get to leave me. Not after teaching me to love him. Stay, Min-jae, stay. 8 hours of surgery. Aide paced the waiting room, still wearing his dried blood. Nurses offered her scrubs to change into. She refused to move, refused to leave. If she left, even for a moment, he might slip away. Soo-jin arrived, wrapping her in a blanket. He's going to make it. You don't know that. I know you, and I know you won't let him go without a fight. The surgeon finally emerged, exhausted, bloody scrubs. He made it, barely. Bullet was close to his heart. Massive blood loss. Next 48 hours are critical, but he's stable. Aide's legs gave out. Jin caught her as she sobbed with relief. "Can I see him?" "ICU, 5 minutes only. He's unconscious." Min-jae lay intubated, machines breathing for him. Aide took his hand, felt how cold it was. "You promised me a future," she whispered. "I'm holding you to that. You don't get to leave. You taught me what it means to love someone completely, and I choose you, every broken piece. So wake up. Come back to me." She squeezed his hand. No response. The nurse touched her shoulder gently. "Time's up, doctor." Aide kissed his forehead. "I'll be right outside. I'm not going anywhere." 48 hours felt like 48 years. Aide camped in the waiting room. Jin brought food she didn't eat, clothes she didn't change into, news she didn't care about. Ji-hoon arrested. Hae-jin charged with multiple murders. Min-jae's organization dissolved peacefully. None of it mattered. Only him waking up mattered. Day 2. The nurse rushed out. "He's awake. Asking for you." Aide ran. Min-jae was extubated, pale and weak, but his eyes found hers immediately. "You're here." "I said I wouldn't leave." She was crying, laughing. "I meant it. I felt everything, the bullet, the pain, the fear of dying." His voice was hoarse, but most of all, the fear of leaving you. He tried to sit up, winced. "Marry me." Aide froze. "What?" "I died, came back. Life's too short." His hand found hers. "Marry me. Be my wife. Let me spend whatever time I have making you happy." "You're on pain medication. You're delirious." "I'm completely serious. I love you. Marry me." Aide looked at this man who'd taken a bullet for her, who'd changed everything about himself, who was looking at her like she was his entire world. "Yes, you ridiculous man. Yes." His smile transformed his whole face. Then he fell asleep, exhausted, but still holding her hand. 2 weeks later, Min-jae was discharged to her apartment. She'd refused to return to the penthouse. Too many memories, too much blood. They needed something new. Her tiny apartment became their world. She changed his bandages, monitored his vitals, forced him to rest. He was a terrible patient, impatient, restless, hating weakness. "You took a bullet to the chest. Rest." "I've rested 2 weeks. I want to—" "No, doctor's orders." He was frustrated but charmed. "You're enjoying having power over me." "Maybe a little." They found rhythms. Reading. On the couch, his head in her lap, her fingers in his hair, him falling asleep to her heartbeat. When nightmares came, she held him through them. "I'm here. You're safe. We're safe." 1 month post-surgery, he was cleared. He announced his legitimate security company, protecting people instead of hurting them. Aide graduated medical school. He cheered loudest in the audience despite still healing. Small celebration dinner with Jin. She toasted, "To Aide, who saved lives and souls. To Min-jae, who proved people can change." That night, finally alone, finally healed enough, they looked at each other with the same thought. "It's been weeks," Min-jae said quietly. "What if—" Aide kissed him. "Stop thinking. Just feel." This time was different. Tender, careful. She positioned herself on top, protecting his healing chest. Slow movements, eyes locked, hands intertwined. "I love you," he whispered. "Every scar, every broken piece, all of you. Not just physical reconnection, but emotional, healing what almost broke. Tears mixed with whispered promises, gentle touches replacing desperate ones. We survived. We're here. Together." The climax was quiet, intimate, perfect. Afterward, holding each other in the dark, both felt the weight lift. They'd made it through, against everything they'd survived. "Nothing will feel as good as this," Min-jae murmured, "as you." They planned their future in whispers. Small wedding, fresh start, new life. "I want to meet your father properly, ask his blessing." Aide smiled. "He'll interrogate you. Nigerian fathers don't play." "I survived torture and bullets. I can handle your father." 3 months later, they flew to Lagos. At the airport, Min-jae was genuinely nervous. "I've faced death. This is scarier." Her father stood at arrivals, tall, stern, protective. He looked Min-jae over with the intensity of a man evaluating threats. Long silence. "So you're the man who made my daughter forget to call for 2 months?" Min-jae straightened. "Yes, sir. I apologize, sir. Her father's stern face broke into a smile. "Any man who makes my daughter this happy is welcome. Come, let's talk." As they walked away, Adie caught Min-jae's relieved expression and had to hide her smile. 6 months after that, their wedding day arrived. Small ceremony, fusion of both cultures. Aid in white Nigerian lace with Korean joggery overlay. Min-jae and hanbok with Nigerian aso-oke accents. 30 people who mattered. Her father, healthy and proud. Soo-jin crying through the whole ceremony. Min-jae's former men, now legitimately employed, emotional seeing their boss happy. The vows destroyed everyone. Min-jae's voice was steady but thick with emotion. "Ada, a year ago I was dead inside. You taught me to be alive, to feel everything. Joy, pain, fear, hope. You saw a monster and found the man underneath. I vow to spend every day being worthy of that choice. I vow to feel everything with you, because a life feeling everything with you is worth more than 1,000 lifetimes of numbness. I love you, always." Aid was crying openly. "Min-jae, you were supposed to be a transaction. Instead, you became everything. You taught me that love isn't finding perfection. It's seeing someone completely and choosing them anyway. I see you, all of you, the darkness and light, and I choose you every day, forever. I vow to love you, challenge you, heal beside you, and build a life that's ours. I love you, always." They kissed as husband and wife, and the cheers were deafening. The reception was joy. Dancing. He was actually good now. Speeches that made everyone laugh and cry. Her father pulled Min-jae aside. "Thank you for loving my daughter, for letting her love you back. She saved my life, sir, in every way possible." Their first dance as married couple was perfect. "Mrs. Kang, my wife. Dr. Kang, your husband." I like the sound of that. Their wedding night was everything it should be. No shadows, no danger, just them, married, celebrating everything they'd survived to reach this moment. Min-jae couldn't stop touching her wedding ring. "My wife. You're actually my wife." Aid pulled him closer. "And you're my husband. Forever." What followed was joyful, passionate, complete. 2 people who knew each other entirely, expressing everything without words. When they came together, it felt like coming home. Between rounds of lovemaking, they fed each other wedding cake, talked about their future, laughed at everything and nothing. "How many kids do you want?" she asked, lying in his arms. "At least 2, maybe 3. He kissed her temple. "I want to give you everything." "You already have." The honeymoon was simple. A beach in Jeju Island. No bodyguards, no threats, just freedom. They swam, ate too much, made love watching sunsets, and Min-jae learned to be still, to enjoy peace without looking over his shoulder. "I never thought I'd have this," he said one evening, holding her as waves crashed nearby. "A wife, peace, a future worth living. You deserve it. We both do." When they returned to Seoul, real life waited. Aid started her residency at Seoul National Hospital. Min-jae's security company had landed 3 major contracts. Corporate protection, actually helping people. They found rhythms. Morning coffee before her early shifts. Him picking her up after late ones. Cooking together in their small kitchen. Normal, beautiful, boring life. 6 months into marriage, Aid noticed changes. Exhaustion, nausea. She bought 3 tests, all positive. That evening, Min-jae came home to find her on the couch, tests laid out on the coffee table. He froze. "Are those—" "I'm pregnant." Her voice shook. "About 8 weeks." He crossed the room in 3 strides, pulled her up, held her like she might disappear. "We're having a baby? We're having a baby." He dropped to his knees, pressed his ear against her still flat stomach. "I can't feel anything yet, but knowing our child is in there..." His voice broke. "I never thought I'd have this. A family, something good that I helped create." Aide ran her fingers through his hair, crying happy tears. "You're going to be an amazing father." The pregnancy progressed smoothly. Min-jae became impossibly protective. Aide reminded him daily that pregnant didn't mean fragile. When she was 5 months along, her father flew in from Lagos. Seeing his daughter glowing with pregnancy brought tears to his eyes. "You're happy, Omomi. More than I ever imagined." He touched her belly gently. "Your mother would have loved this. My grandchild. Half Nigerian, half Korean. Perfect." At 7 months, Ada went on modified bed rest, high blood pressure, nothing serious but requiring caution. Min-jae took it as permission to spoil her completely. Breakfast in bed, reading to the baby every evening, talking to her belly constantly. "Your mother is the strongest person I know. You're going to be just like her." One morning, she woke to find him watching her sleep. "Creepy," she mumbled, smiling. "Can't help it." His hand rested on her belly. "I felt the baby move." "That's not movement, that's gas." He grinned. "I'm choosing to believe it's our baby saying hello." He'd made breakfast, Nigerian akara and Korean kimchi fried rice, their fusion life in food form. They ate in bed, debating nursery colors and names. "Remember our first night?" she asked. "In the bath?" His eyes darkened. "Every detail, you trembling, me awakening. Remember what you said?" "Go lower, I'll pay you anything." He smiled. "Best money I ever spent." Aide pulled him closer, whispered against his lips. "I'm not taking payments anymore, but I wouldn't mind if you went lower anyway." He laughed, kissed her deeply. "Your wish is my command, Mrs. Kang." What followed was gentle, careful of her pregnancy, but passionate. Slow movements, whispered love, complete connection. Afterward, his head rested on her belly. "Your mother is the strongest person I know," he murmured to their baby. Aide ran her fingers through his hair. "And your father is proof that people can change, that love is stronger than darkness." The baby kicked. He laughed with pure joy. "She heard me." 3 weeks later, Aide woke to contractions. Min-jae went into controlled panic, grabbing their hospital bag. "I've faced armed gangs. This is scarier." She laughed between contractions. "You're not pushing a human out of your body." Labor was 18 hours. Min-jae never left, let her crush his hand, whispered encouragement when she wanted to quit. "You're the strongest person I know. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere." When their daughter finally arrived, screaming and perfect, Min-jae cried, actually cried. Tears streaming as he held this tiny person they'd created. "She's perfect." They named her Grace, for the grace that brought them together, the grace that transformed a monster into a man, the grace of second chances. Aide watched Min-jae hold their daughter, this man who'd once felt nothing now feeling everything, and knew they'd made it. 6 months later, they took Grace to Lagos. Her grandfather cried, holding his granddaughter, blessing her in English and Yoruba. "Your mother would have loved her," he told Ada, "would have loved seeing you this happy." On their 2nd anniversary, after Grace was asleep, they stood on their balcony overlooking Seoul, the same city where their story began, but different now. Peaceful. Min-jae pulled Aide close. 2 years ago, I was a dead man walking. Couldn't feel anything. Then you walked into my bathroom with trembling hands and changed everything." "You were terrified," she remembered. "A feeling of me. I still am sometimes, terrified of losing this." He cupped her face. "But I'd rather live in fear and feel everything than go back to being numb. You gave me life." We gave each other life. She kissed him. You taught me that love isn't safe. It's choosing someone every day, especially when it's hard. I choose you every day, forever. They made love that night with the tenderness of people who'd fought for every moment of happiness. Afterward, wrapped together, Min-jae traced patterns on her skin. Do you remember what I said in that warehouse when I thought I was dying? You said you were glad, that you got to feel everything with me. I meant it then. I mean it more now. His hand found her heartbeat. Every moment, every sensation, the good and terrible. I feel all of it because of you, and I wouldn't trade 1 second of feeling for a lifetime of numbness. She pressed her hand over his. That first night, you commanded me to go lower, so desperate to feel anything. And you gave me everything, my whole world, right there in that bathtub. I thought you were a monster. I was. No, you were a man who'd forgotten he was human. Grace's soft breathing came through the monitor. Their daughter, their family, built from broken pieces and impossible choices and love that refused to quit. Min-jae pulled Aid closer. I love you. I've loved you since you taught me what love was, and I'll love you until I forget how to feel again, which means forever. Forever, Aid whispered. In the morning, they'd wake to their daughter and the beautiful chaos of parenthood. But right now, it was just them. The monster who learned to feel and the healer who taught him how. Together. Always together. Feeling everything. If this story of love transforming the untouchable moved you, smash that like button and drop a comment. Would you have taken the deal? Subscribe for more stories where broken people find wholeness in each other, because everyone deserves a second chance at feeling alive. Thank you for watching. The end.